Okay, let's go ahead and do this. Breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. Shout out to the Rugerverse and all of my superstars. It is your boy Reek Ruger. And as you see, this last week we've been covering the case of missing baby Emmanuel Haros. Let's go ahead and get in here. I know you're on your way to work. I know some of you are on the way to the gym. But we got to talk about this. Because even the slightest possibility that Jake and Rebecca Haros may walk is bothering. It's hair raising. It it stirs up so much emotion because knowing what we know now, and every day the story gets deeper and worse than the day before. Knowing what we know now about this killer couple, Rebecca and Jake Haros, the fact that when they go to court today, that they may possibly receive a bond and be released is absolutely insane. According to local news, they're pretty much talking about how the case at this point isn't strong enough to hold Rebecca and Jake any further. But I want to know what y'all think, what y'all feel about this, because I mean, I'm appalled because I would think that the blood found in the house on the floorboards is enough to at least hold Jake and Rebecca until they further investigate and find more evidence. Because every day something new is being brought forth, brought to the table, in which it's making them look worse and worse as time goes on. Them being free, that allows them to go back to the house. Fresh Coast in the building, salute. That allows them to go back to the house. That allows them to get back into steady communication with each other, corroborate their stories. We don't need them to be free at this point. We know what they did. We know that the story is complete nonsense. That's already been proven. That story was so ridiculous that we poked holes in that story probably by day 2. Even day 1, we were questioning the validity of that story. But I mean, once we got into day 3, day 4, it's like, come on now. None of this is real. And then once the surveillance footage was released, that's when we see that Rebecca didn't even get out of the vehicle. She didn't even get out the car. So that alone discredits the whole story. Because the story is, random attacker comes up from behind, says hola while you're in the middle of changing Emmanuel's diaper, as Jake Haros would say. Who's free and why can't I kick their ass? They're not free as of yet, but there's a possibility that Jake and Rebecca Haros, if you're not familiar with the case, Fresh, let me just run it by you real quick. So it's going on about a week and a half, and 7-month-old Emmanuel Haros went missing in an alleged kidnapping. Now, in this alleged kidnapping situation, Rebecca Haros' mom claims that an attacker came up to her from behind. We have India in the building. Salute. An attacker came up on her from behind. They said hola, and before she could see anything or see who the attacker was, the attacker struck her, knocked her to the ground, and she blacked out. But in her words, verbatim, she says that everything went white, right? Everything went white when she was knocked from behind. However, the injuries that she had to corroborate her story was a black eye on the right side of her face. Now, just that story alone, I know that even listening to it, you can poke holes in it already. If an attacker attacks you from behind, I mean, it would make more sense that the injury would be from behind. Maybe to the back of your head or somewhere to the back of your body. However, she had a black eye and she was going along with the story. Salute, Care Bear. We got Care Bear in the building. Salute to you. You would think that the injuries would come from behind, right? However, what she had and what she was going along with, and trying to add context to her story by saying that the attacker gave her this black eye. Witnesses say that Rebecca was seen with that black eye even dating back to August 3rd. So pretty much weeks before the alleged kidnapping happened, she was witnessed with this black eye. So fast forward, the search for baby Emmanuel Haros continued. So as police were searching and looking for evidence and into the whereabouts of Emmanuel Haros and this possible attacker's identity, the parents immediately stopped cooperating with police. Police suggested, because they automatically started seeing the inconsistencies of Rebecca Haros' story, so police suggested or requested that Rebecca Haros take a lie detector test. Jake Haros immediately shut all of that down and said that he would prefer, if that were to be done, that it be done in front of his lawyer. It was never done. Of course, it's not going to be done because we know the story is complete BS. It didn't happen that way. Surveillance footage shows that she never even got outside of the vehicle. And this happened in a public parking lot. This isn't like it happened in some remote area with no cameras. There were cameras everywhere. It happened in the middle of a parking lot, literally. The attacker would have had to lean in the car to hit her directly in the eye. Exactly. And that would make more sense or whatnot because, I mean, we wouldn't have been able to see the baby because it was in the car. But even her story about the car seat being on the driver's side of the vehicle and her changing the baby on the driver's side of the vehicle, that was something that we were able to poke holes in immediately, because it's like, if the car seat is on the driver's side and you're changing the diaper on the driver's side, why wouldn't you just go to the passenger side to lay the baby flat? Are you changing the baby's diaper while they're inside the car seat? That would seem pretty inconvenient, wouldn't it? Right. And that's what we thought as well. As time went on, the parents, they didn't cooperate with police, which in my mind is, why wouldn't you want to absolve yourself of guilt immediately? If your child is missing, the clock is ticking, wouldn't you want to make sure that you're cleared of all guilt and blame? That way they can find out who the real perpetrators are? Exactly. So now here we are. The parents have been arrested because the police, they went inside of the house and they found blood on the floorboard. They made the arrest and charged both Rebecca and Jake Haros with murder with malicious intent. However, here we are, and we still have no body. They have not found the remains, and as tight as a couple as Jake and Rebecca Haros might have seemed, and although Jake advised Rebecca not to cooperate with police when questioned about doing a lie detector test, guess what? Jake is cooperating with police. Now that they're separate and he's in jail, Jake has been cooperating with police. The exact thing that he told her not to do. What I find strange, however, because don't think because Rebecca's in jail that she's completely oblivious to what's going on in the world. She still is able to watch the news. I know she knows that Jake was going out in the field trying to show the police a possible location of a baby Emmanuel's remains. Rebecca knows that by now. But she did a jailhouse interview in which she was giving Jake Haros pretty much the Father of the Year award and saying that he would never hurt a child. How ridiculous is that? How ridiculous of a statement is that when we know for a fact that Jake was charged in 2018 with child cruelty for what he did to his 10-week-old child? And for those of you that don't know, Jake's 10-week-old child at the time, she is now 7. How can I say this? Jake is a woman abuser and a baby beater. Jake strangled that child and beat the hell out of that child until that child only had 3% brain ability. The child is damn near brain dead. He beat the child until the child was blind. The child can't walk for the rest of her life. She can't talk. She can't breathe on her own without a breathing tube. But you would tell me that Jake would never hurt a child? Rebecca, you deserve everything that's coming to you. And I know that you and Jake are hoping to be released today for some fucking loophole. But guess what? You're not escaping ridicule and the shame of the public. You might be able to cheat the legal system while they further investigate and gather more evidence to close this case and put the last nail in the coffin on y'all. This is YouTube. I gotta watch my mouth. But y'all might think that you're getting off. And even if you are released, which I don't believe you will be. I don't believe you will be. I know the DA is working probably as hard as they can to convince the judge that they are able to charge you and keep you until they can find further evidence and find the remains of Emmanuel Haros. I pray the DA get these charges to stick. If they don't get her, the parole violation is going to be able to hold him. Exactly. Rebecca has a way better chance of being released because Jake, you've been effing up for a while, Jake. The weapons charges, you done violated your parole multiple times. You've been effing up for a while, Jake. No wonder you're cooperating. No wonder you're trying to cooperate. But as we discussed in the last blog, and if you haven't seen that, you can go and watch that after this video, and we break things down into even more detail. But as you've seen in the last blog, when we discussed Jake leading investigators to the possible site of Emmanuel Haros' remains, we also discussed, what if Jake doesn't know the exact location? Or what if at one point Jake did know the exact location, but the remains were moved? That makes you question, was it a hoax? Did he lead investigators to this open field just to get a day out of jail? A bit of fresh air? Was that what it was about? Or was he trying to work out some sort of deal with them in which him leading them to the body, the remains of Emmanuel Haros, would possibly give him a lighter sentence? And it ain't going to be that light. You know, it'll probably be the difference between life or 30 to 40 years. Because 30 to 40 years, Jake, he's a young guy. He's only 32. 30 to 40 years, he'll still be in his 60s, you know. So I would think that in this situation, it would behoove him to cooperate with police, because guess what? Guess what? If there's no body found, there's no deal. You think they're going to take you out and you show them, you take them on this wild goose chase and you come up with no results, produce no evidence? You think the deal is going to stick? You think they're still going to give them that deal? I'm in San Diego. Where you at, dog? It's still dark here. I'm in South Carolina. That's fine, Jake. No, his back is up against the wall, but he's still not getting out. Parole already told him no police contact, and Jake from State Farm unalive a 7-month-old. Jake the Snake, Jake from State Farm. But I think I like, somebody came up with Jake from State Prison. Jake from State Prison seems to be the most fitting name for this asshole. And you going down. And I can't wait to hear the stories about what you go through in prison. I can't wait, Jake. I can't wait to hear about how you're getting extorted. I can't wait to hear about how many times they poked holes in you. I can't wait to hear it all. I can't wait to hear about them tying you up and holding you hostage in a cell. I can't wait to hear about the CEOs making sure that you eat the bare minimum, and them making sure that all your food all your food is tainted with saliva. I can't wait to hear it. I can't wait to hear it, because you deserve the worst. You deserve the worst the world has to offer. And this isn't your first offense. This is, you've done this over the course of your life. This is who you are at this point. Some people make mistakes, and we can vouch for them and say, okay, give them a second chance. Salute to Valentine TV, and happy belated birthday. Valentine TV, we were trying to get in contact with you. We were trying to get in contact with you because C-Bot threw you a virtual birthday party. Go to C-Bot Productions channel and you'll see what I'm talking about. Salute to you and happy belated birthday. Also, we're still praying for your mom. Shout out to the Rugerverse and all of my superstars. This is a crazy case, and the fact that Rebecca and Jake have even a shot at being released is absolutely ridiculous to me. I would think the blood being found in the house is enough. We didn't find a body, okay? We don't know where the remains are. They're playing games. Even Rebecca, even with the story being completely broken down and falling apart, Rebecca is in the last interview, her jailhouse interview, confirming her story. She's still doubling down on this BS story. Meanwhile, Jake obviously has veered off from the story because he's taking the police to a possible location. If this kidnapping story was for real, guess what? He wouldn't be taking them nowhere because he wouldn't know. What the hell? But here's Rebecca. She's still sticking to her guns. And I promise you, I almost guarantee it, she is under her mom's advisory. Don't forget, Grandma Mary, it is not far-fetched to think that Grandma Mary is involved with the murder and the cover-up of Emmanuel Haros. I don't think that she's a participant in the act, but I think you covering it up is just as bad. And knowing what we know about Rebecca's brother and Grandma Mary standing at the forefront defending his innocence to the end, even knowing that Rebecca's brother, Grandma Mary's son, murdered his girlfriend in the bathtub and tried to stage it to look like a self-deletion. And here's Grandma Mary, right at the forefront, right on the front lines, all in the news camera's face. Here she is saying, no, he couldn't have done that. He couldn't have done that. No, she looked like she did it to herself. You know what the fuck happened. You know what happened. Just like in this case. You know what happened to baby Emmanuel, and the fact that you're not willing to say anything shows just how disgusting of a person you are. You are just as bad. And I don't feel bad for you. And I believe the police are overlooking you as a suspect, when in fact they should be taking you in immediately for serious questioning for your role and involvement in the cover-up of baby Emmanuel and us finding him. You people make me sick. The Haros House of Horrors. Look at all the things that have happened inside that house. You've got Jake's brother who passed away due to a mysterious overdose. That needs to be looked into. That case needs to be dug up and reinvestigated by professionals, not just the local police force. Not to say that they're not professional, but sometimes you need a second opinion or outside eyes to look into this. Look at how we cracked this case as internet investigators working along with the local police. We were able to break these people down in no time, record time. The poor acting. You got Rebecca and Jake overhearing this interview a day after the alleged kidnapping happened. You got them over here and what? The fake tears, fake hyperventilating. Please, please, shut up. Shut up. Shut up. You got Jake over here. Oh, she was just changing his diaper. You're a grown ass man. And you want me to believe that when talking to other adults, that's the way you would translate that message? She was changing his diaper. Shut the hell up. Then you, Rebecca, please bring him back home. You know what happened to him. You know what you did. We seen you doing some strange things. If this alleged kid, this is so ridiculous, man. If this alleged kidnapper kidnapped your child and there's a possibility that he's still somewhere out there alive, why the fuck are you going to thrift stores selling his clothes? Why are you selling his clothes? Why are you donating his clothes? And why are you throwing clothes in the garbage? What's he gonna have when he gets back? That's because you know he's not coming back. You know what happened. These small subtleties are definitely not to be overlooked. Because the subtleties, like looking at the poster that you guys put together, and you got some people saying, no, like a random bystander made that. I'm not buying that. No random bystander made that flyer for them. That was either Jake, Rebecca, or their lawyer that put that together. And guess what? If my lawyer did that and made an insensitive poster for my kid that's missing, talking about missing kid, I tell him, no, go change that. Change the title to Missing Baby. Change the title to Bring My Baby Home. Change the title to Where's My Baby? Not Missing Kid. You might as well have been holding a damn carton of milk. All of these subtleties have led us to this very moment in which this story has completely fallen apart. We got 2 individuals in jail. We got random people going around this Haros house of horrors, whereas they shouldn't even be able to get within a close distance or proximity of the place. Y'all need to have this place blocked off. It's an active crime scene. And it's not done being investigated. Why are people able to just come? You got people breaking into the house, talking about they giving a tour around the property. You got Grandma Mary coming and going as the fuck she please. You got Jake Dad walking around. Come on. It's a crime scene. Because I promise you that if these 2 ever walk free from this nonsense, guess what? We're going to look back to all of these days in which y'all were letting these people do whatever the hell they want, walk all over the property where the property hasn't even been dug up yet to see if it's a possible location of his remains. And you're just letting people just willy-nilly walk all around. No, it's not a museum. Although a lot of crazy events have happened there, it's not a museum. It should be blocked off. It's a crime scene. And Rebecca Haros and Jake Haros, if you do get released today, you should fear for your lives. And that's not a threat. I'm just being honest. You should fear for your lives because guess what? This is a nationwide case. You've got people that have been flying into Yucaipa from all over the world to report this news. You've got people that have been flying in and people that have been gathering, community members, to support this missing child. Originally, they were supporters of you, the parents, because they felt sympathy for you. And empathy trying to empathize with what you're going through dealing with a missing child. So even if you are released, guess what? Your home's already been broken into. So that shows me that it's not that well guarded. The security isn't very good. Shout out to the Rugerverse and all of my superstars. We'll be back here later. After this court case goes down, we'll be back here to talk some more later. Please hit the like button on your way out and subscribe to the channel if you're new here. This is heartbreaking. For real. It's very heartbreaking. No problem, Kid Bear.